Yo, what's up traders? And I guess in this video, potential investors, because markets are closed, it's President's Day, which means I got a whole day to do no day trading, but just look at the charts, maybe look at some of my long-term holdings, take a walk around Berlin, which I wanted to do to get some really nice filler footage, but today was one of those extremely Berlin winter gray days. It was kind of warm outside, but it was just super gray. So filler footage for another video. Sorry, that's just gonna have to wait. But hey, my favorite thing to do in my free time is honestly just look at charts. I could do it all day. I've been doing it since high school, and I'm lucky enough to be able to do it full time now. So while I was browsing some of my long-term positions, I was thinking, man, this one swing trade that I'm currently in right now is definitely one of my favorite swing trades. And not just because the setup was pretty nice, but this stock has a few things about it that make it really, really special. And today I want to share it with you guys. Today we're going to be talking about the ticker SPCE, or as a lot of traders and investors like to say, SPACE. It's the ticker for the company Virgin Galactic. And I want to talk a little bit about my holdings, why I entered, where I might be exiting, and why the price might hit $200. So sit back, enjoy, and also don't forget to let me know what you guys think about SPCE. Are you guys going to trade it? Are you investing in it? I remember a few weeks back, we were actually day trading SPCE because it fit our small cap criteria, although the market cap was a little bit bigger, I gotta be honest. But our gap and go scanner picked it up, and then boom. And if you're new here and you're looking to learn more about day trading and investing, definitely consider subscribing. Every trading day at 9:15 a.m., I go live to trade the market open with our gap and go day trading strategy. Obviously today I did not live stream because it's President's Day, but tomorrow we're going to be going live, so I would love to see you in the chat room. And like always, if you enjoy this content, don't forget to hit that like button. Let's go to the charts. Wow, in the middle of making this video, I just realized that I think I really need a shave. Oh, hot damn. Oh, hello there. All right, guys, so this is the chart from Virgin Galactic, ticker symbol SPCE, and I'll talk about a few things, including where in this chart is my long-term entry. I'm not gonna lie, it's fairly recent, but I wanted to tell you guys why I entered and where I'm looking to potentially get out. But first of all, I think this article right here from CNBC, let me quickly pull it up, does a really, really good job of talking about why this is such an interesting stock. And there's a few things in this article I want to point out. So on the 28th of October, Virgin Galactic stock begins trading on the New York Stock Exchange. I think the really interesting thing about Virgin Galactic, specifically trading on the New York Stock Exchange, is right here, where Virgin Galactic is making history again today as it becomes the world's first and only publicly traded commercial human space flights company. Now, as a momentum trader, I oftentimes look for a catalyst that will move a company. Oftentimes, a company that is really, really easy to understand the story or the catalyst, not to mention is something that's very, very new, oftentimes explodes. Just like how Tesla went absolutely exponential because they were the first ones to really make electric cars extremely popular to the mainstream. Now, the thing about Virgin Galactic is that it's in an industry that a lot of people are following and it has a lot of hype around it. You have SpaceX in the news almost every single day, especially as a trader, you see a lot of stuff revolving around that company, not to mention with Elon Musk and Tesla. You have Jeff Bezos's company now, Blue Origin, that's getting a lot of news coverage. And all over the place, there's a lot of kind of space and exploration and colonizing Mars. And the one thing a lot of these companies had in common was the fact that they were all private. So a retail investor could not really get their hands or get involved in one of these projects, or at least have some sort of ownership on one of these projects. And that's why I find Virgin Galactic super, super interesting, because it's the first commercial space company that any retailer investor can just openly trade on the market. And I find that a really, really strong story that you can get behind. And if you just scroll down here a little bit, if you guys don't know Sir Richard Branson, he is the founder and co-founder of basically everything that is Virgin, from Virgin Mobile to Virgin Records, bookstore. Now there's cruise advertisements, Virgin Cruise advertisements everywhere. I mean, the list is honestly endless. If you go to, I think, virgin.com, you can check out all their companies, and it's just mind-blowing how big they are. Plus, having somebody like Sir Richard Branson behind the company is massive. I know as a kid, I've read all of Sir Richard's books, and I've been following Sir Richard, his companies, and also Virgin Galactic for so many years, I honestly don't remember when it wasn't really part of my life. So now you have a company that is extremely credible and also a founder that is just extremely well known all over the place across all walks of life. It's just not something that you get all the time. So when I found out that Space IPO'd, I was really excited about it. Now I didn't invest right away. I actually day traded it a few times, and I probably won't be building up a really long-term investment position anytime soon, but I am in a swing trade with Space for this exact reason, that it's a young company with a just massive catalyst and big reputation behind it. So one of these companies, so this is a classic company that can just absolutely rip, have a massive blow off top before maybe finding its price and then really pulling up to new all-time highs in a bit more sustainable fashion. So that's why I want to be swing trading SPCE first. And most likely, I will probably become a long-term investor at one point in the future. And just scrolling down this article, Sir Richard Branson kind of sums it up perfectly himself. If the public wanted to dabble a little bit in a space company, own a little bit of a space company, they can now do so. And that's exactly what I was saying. It's just something that you were never able to do before. So again, that is a really good thing for a company that is newly listed on the stock exchange. And I remember when I was in high school, I think it was when I was in high school, I don't know, I graduated in 2011, so I would have to recheck that. But it was sometime when I was still in school. And I remember reading that you can buy a chance to fly to space for $250,000, so $250,000 with Virgin Galactic. And I always thought that was really cool. And it wasn't really long after till I remember that the company fulfilled the first couple hundred spots of customers who already paid the deposit, which again is just crazy. Not to mention, they've already had successful flights to space. And just, I mean, I don't want to bore you guys with all the details of this article, but it really sums up why this is a interesting stock to be following. And just really quickly, let's head over to Finviz right now to check out some of the stats. And then let's also compare it to SpaceX, which might not really be the best comparison, but there's really not a lot to compare in the space industry. So right now, the price of space is $28.68. And this is the closing price of space on Friday, because right now it's Monday and the markets are still closed, which gives the company a market cap of 4.63 billion. Now I was thinking, okay, 4.63 billion, that sounds kind of small for a space exploration company. And then I was wondering, what is the market cap of SpaceX? So I went over here, Googled it, and it looks like in May 31st, 2019, the market cap of SpaceX was 3.3 billion, according to Wikipedia, which is obviously maybe not totally reliable, especially for the fact that it's a private company. So getting a real market cap / valuation is a little bit more tricky than simply multiplying your outstanding shares by the price, which gives you the market cap. But I was thinking, well, okay, so SpaceX has grown substantially in the last year. So I would even argue it's probably closer to maybe 100 billion market cap or something like that. But let's say if Virgin Galactic eventually worked its way up from its 4.63 billion market cap all the way up to SpaceX's 33.3 billion market cap, what would the price of Virgin Galactic be? Now, this is extremely simplified and there's many more variables in play, but very quickly, let's just give it a quick gander. Let me just outline the equation right now for you guys. So the market cap of Virgin Galactic is 4.63 billion. And to get that, all you have to do is times 161.33 million shares outstanding by the current price, which is 28.68, or you can have a little bit of fun and say that the market cap 4.6 billion divided by 161 million shares outstanding gives you the current market price. So what would happen if we changed this number of 4.6 billion market cap to SpaceX's market cap, which is 33 billion? That would give us a price of $204.54, which I don't believe is going to happen anytime soon, but it's kind of an interesting thing to think about, especially as Virgin Galactic, ticker symbol SPCE, is right now at $28, which basically means if Virgin Galactic's ticker symbol SPACE was ever to get to the same size as SpaceX, there would be still room for 7 times growth, which is pretty exciting. Now, just for fun, let's talk about the chart for a little bit and talk about my entry and where I might be selling. If you've been watching this channel for even just a little bit, you probably know that I am a fanatic about really simple trading strategies. And for me, support and resistance is one of those really simple and easy to understand trading strategies, because if something's extremely simple and obvious, it means there's a lot of people that are going to be paying attention to it. So it wasn't really hard to identify that Space had big resistance right around $20. We had a big all-time high run up to this area, and then we had a rejection. Again, we came up here, had a rejection, and got pulled down. And we started forming a bit of an ascending triangle right around here. You can see the lows keep on getting higher, and the top is always a clear resistance around 20. An ascending triangle is sometimes referred to as a bull flag or a continuation pattern. And that's exactly what happened here. We had big volume. Actually, the volume wasn't really that big on the breakout, I gotta say. But still, clear breakout here, closed well above $20. And the next day, we continue to run up. And the next day is when I was like, okay, I wanna go long this position. So let me quickly go here and show my trades, show trades. Okay. And let's go to our day trading screen. So here you have it. Let me just zoom in twice maybe, and then just pull back a little bit here. This was the breakout past 20, I believe. Yeah, here you can see it. Here I have my 2 lines. We had a little bit of pullback here, and then we break to the upside, had a little pullback again, big buyers, and then this thing just, keeps rallying. After hours, really nice consistent move here. And during this pre-market, this is when I started looking at it, and I was like, oh, I would really like an entry somehow on any dip lower. So I went ahead and first I put a limit order. This is actually really ridiculous. I first put a limit order at 2027, hoping that we would come back to 20, and I would try to front run a little bit my entry. Absolutely did not happen. Held its highs super well, which is a very bullish sign. And I was like, oh man, I think I just missed the breakout that I wanted with SPCE. So sometimes, forcing an entry might be the best, but then something happened. Again, pre-market held really good, but still I had a limit order around 20. I don't know, I think it was 2027. I did move it up into the 2075 at one point, but let's keep on going here. We had one nice morning panic here, and I got super excited, but I missed it. Again, my limit order was just below this entry, and I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Ridiculous. And this move after this low was just absolutely enormous. 15%. And for a company with a market cap in the billions, that's a really big move. So I was like, again, I think I totally missed this entry. I was waiting for another maybe pullback back to 2150 or something like that. It's pretty easy to identify that there's big buyers right in here. We had a quick dip down, a lot of morning selling, maybe some market orders, maybe some stops or something like that getting triggered. But then it really holds its highs here. And it just, this area, 2125, something like that, 2150 maybe, big support. So my goal was to go ahead and buy in that area. I had a limit order waiting here for a double bottom that, sometimes pre-market where the volume's a little lighter, sometimes you reach those areas much easier. And, we were well on our way to that. I remember this happening live, and, I was so excited. My limit order was somewhere right around here. And then again, boom, price pops up. Now I always say a bounce that is weak is a bounce that is probably a dead cat bounce and will just continue to the downside. So right here, this is a pretty weak bounce, 1.4% move, continuation. Right here, this bounce is so small you can barely identify it. It's about a percent move. But this bounce right here goes all the way back to that breakout spot, over a 2% bounce. So let's quickly continue. We hold our highs, and then we continue moving forward, and then we break out again. And I'm like, oh man, I think I just missed it again. And at this point, I don't like chasing a lot, but I was like, this might be the best opportunity we have, or maybe the last opportunity we have before we see some sort of blow off top or a break past 25 or some sort of big continuation. So I went ahead, moved my order all the way up from, I think, 2150 or something like that to 22.5. I was honestly hoping at this point there would be a quick pullback back to VWAP. And luckily enough, this time I got it. And then market opens and this thing just absolutely rips. So I was pretty happy once we finally got this entry. But again, it took a few attempts, and I'm just happy that we got an entry before it totally ran away from us. Again, it's a swing trade. It's not an investment. So having an entry that gives me some favorable risk reward is really, really important. And I didn't want to buy too high to 20 because if we broke 20, then I would have to cut my losses on this swing trade. And I didn't really want to put myself in that position. That's why I was always a little bit hesitant to enter. Now, if this was an investment and I wanted to hold it for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, then obviously it doesn't really matter those few cents. But as a day trader and a swing trader, I'm always a little bit more cautious about getting the entry that I want. So now we're kind of in this 29.89 area after hours. So we'll see how we open up tomorrow. But let's talk about where this price might go. And, as a day trader, you typically look to your left to see if there's any resistance, because if the price is breaking out and we've had multiple peaks at, let's say, $30, where the price tries to go up to $30 and gets rejected, there's a good chance that there's going to be at least a pullback before we break out of, let's say, $30. So taking profits in that area wouldn't be a bad idea. And then maybe looking to trade the breakout from that area again as a new trade would be something you'd be looking for. But if there's no resistance, if you're looking to the left and you're going exponential, and this is the first, you're hitting new all-time highs, it's really extremely difficult. It's basically impossible to say how far a stock is going to go. I've tried it many times, and there's literally, I could think of all the stocks where I got it right, because it's not an easy thing to guess, because that's ultimately what you're doing. But there are some rule of thumbs that you can definitely follow. So for example, traders they just absolutely love whole numbers. It's a bit of a human psychology thing because they're really easy to remember. For example, if you know that Tesla hit $800, you're always going to think about that 800. You're going to think about that. Is it going to reach $1,000, right? These are super arbitrary numbers, and they don't have any sort of correlation to things that matter, but that's just how the human mind works. So what are all traders looking at? They're definitely looking at the 30. Are we going to break past 30? Are we going to break past 40? And then, 50 is kind of one of those extremely important numbers because it's the halfway point to 100. Because if Space hits 50, I guarantee you there's going to be an influx of new articles that are probably going to compare Space to maybe Tesla or some other company that just went exponential. And, are they there? And then they're going to say, is it going to reach 100 or something like that? So those huge psychological points are pretty important. And that's also why I kind of wanted to show you guys the SpaceX comparison, because if Space had a similar valuation as SpaceX, then at $200, now that's a really big whole number that you can just really wrap your mind around. So Space definitely has the story behind it. It's got a great team behind it. It's really something that it's really easy just to advertise it. So I do think that this run might not be over. I don't know. Again, it's really impossible to say. But for this swing trade, I'm going to be looking for maybe some pre-market resistance where the momentum is going to be cracking, especially near those whole numbers. So I wouldn't be surprised if Space ran all the way up to $50 and then maybe had a big pullback. There's also big macro factors that are worth considering. How healthy is the market right now? We're in an all-time bull market. So a lot of times when you're in a very bull market, these breakouts are a little bit stronger. I don't know, it's tough to say, but when you start seeing signs of resistance like we saw with Tesla, where we just had a day that just gave back, I think it was like over 20%, but then it spiked back up, that's a crack of resistance. Now, a lot of traders are going to be on edge. They're like, ooh, I don't want to be in the trade when that happens again. So the bulls will start slowing down a little bit. So looking for cracks of momentum and also looking for big spikes of volume. So when you see big spikes like this, sometimes it's the end of a journey. So this could actually be an indicator that maybe we've reached the end of the road for Space. I don't know. It's really tough to say. But again, looking on the intraday, trying to find, maybe selling into a spike or something like that wouldn't really be the worst idea. Ultimately, if I was trading this with a bigger position size, like I would like to do around $10,000, and I was already up $2,800, I would probably be way more inclined to close this trade. So again, I shouldn't be trying to think about, making $500 or $1,000 on this trade. I should be thinking, 30%, is that a good swing trade? Am I happy with that percentage gain? And if that's a yes, and the price is starting to show resistance, you don't want to get greedy and you want to go ahead and close out that position. I entered this trade with about $950 or $970, position long 43 times my average price of 22.57. I think that's a little bit under $1,000. And it's really easy to think, okay, well, I want, $500 or I want $1,000 profit. But you have to understand, you have to think in percentages. Now, I only allocated half of my Roth IRA, which is tiny because I've been a bad boy and I just have not been allocating my $6,000 a year to it. But I had, $2,000 in the account, and I was like, okay, well, I'll allocate half of the account, which is a massive account allocation, if you so will. But since this is just quote unquote a leftover, trading account, it's still a very small position of my overall trading. All right, guys, that's everything I wanted to talk about for this video. I just wanted to share one of my favorite current swing trades, even though the allocation to this position is just tiny, but still, it's just really, really good fun to be part of this trade and just kind of be part of this company, honestly. It's just a good feeling somehow. I don't know, maybe you don't like space and you don't like the potential with space, but to me, it's always been a thing since my childhood I've been really interested in. And I think many people feel the same way. So, again, that's really a big story that you can get behind on a company like this, and why I believe that has that explosive growth, even if it is unwarranted. Well, guys, have a great rest of your President's Day. Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't done so already, and definitely don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. I would love to have you join the channel, the challenge, and the live streams. I will see you then first thing tomorrow for the opening bell. So till then, like always, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao, guys.